If you do not believe in love, I will validate you with the false story of the romance between Austin Reaves and Taylor Swift. Pressure mounts for a quarterback change over at UCLA. And do the Clippers have too much depth in order to create an actual well-rounded team? Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. So it is October 19th, 2023, and I cannot front. I look like crap. I feel like crap. I'm going right back to bed, despite the fact that it's a lovely day after I'm done with this tape. But do you like being in the know about LA sports? If you do, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment, because it's always good when you're talking LA sports. So before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. There were no games involving LA teams yesterday. Meanwhile, today, the Kings are in Minnesota at 5 o'clock. So let's get to the news. It is extremely difficult to believe in love. I totally get that. Because, I've been divorced twice, for Pete's sakes. I fell down that rabbit hole. I suffered the consequences. I had to sleep in my car while trying to figure out how to pay off child support. I get it. I totally get it. I'm so glad I'm not divorced now. They don't have such a thing as a 99-cent menu anymore. Thank you, Joe Biden. Love is expensive. Here's what love is. Love is your wife asking you to give her a kiss and then 2 seconds later asking you to Venmo her some money. I totally understand why you guys would be skeptical about it. I get your skepticism. And then you're sitting there you just want to sit there, relax, watch a football game, and they keep stuffing Taylor Swift in your face. More pictures of Taylor Swift than you do actually see the game. The color analyst is so busy drawing up how the play went down over Taylor Swift's face, for Pete's sake. Tired of seeing Taylor Swift. So yeah, did you ever wonder who started the rumor about Taylor Swift dating the Lakers' Austin Reaves? And when you watch Chiefs football then, do you become extremely thankful that that was just a fake news rumor? According to FoxSports.com, we now know the story. It was a Clippers employee that did it. Yeah, he was killing time at an airport. Zain Faimula, a social media design associate. He saw a tweet about Swift breaking up with her 5,000th boyfriend and decided to have a little bit of fun. He put a Lakers logo behind a photo of Swift, took him about 3 or 4 seconds to do, posted it on social media, claiming that now all of a sudden, there is Taylor Swift, reportedly seen at an Arkansas bar this weekend with star Laker basketball player Austin Reaves. The guy finishes his drink, boards the plane, puts the phone in airplane mode, and thinks nothing of it. Until the plane lands. And he looks at his phone. It's got millions of followers. It got millions of likes. It was retweeted a bunch of times. Other news outlets picked it up. And Reaves is just sitting there with his family out in a farm wondering what the hell's going on. So yeah, that's how it happened. Now, meanwhile, the Lakers are having a lot of fun at Reaves' expense over the whole thing. General manager Rob Pelinka praised Reaves for, quote, not getting caught up in the media rumors about who he's dating, unquote. Completely tongue-in-cheek. After a preseason game against Milwaukee, Lakers coach Darvin Ham said Reaves is such a humble guy that he's not afraid to tell Taylor Swift no. So I'm going to be real about this, with this whole thing. I get it. I understand it. We all know that this chick has based her entire musical career off of writing songs about her ex-boyfriends. But you know what no ex has ever said about Taylor Swift? That song is so worth it because she was the best sex I ever had. Nobody's ever said that about Taylor Swift. Nobody wants her back. Have you ever noticed that, guys? And it's strange because we all have that one chick, right? We all have that one chick where you're sitting there going, man, I dated this girl. She was effing nuts. But if she texted me at 1:30 in the morning, I'd be at her door with a box of chocolates and a condom. We all have that one chick, right? Nobody's ever said that about Taylor Swift. Translation, she's mid. Now, we've chatted up the Lakers offense during the preseason, how their search for a third option has probably ended with Reaves, how they finally have some outside shooting, but the CBSSports.com folks are not that impressed. They ranked the Lakers offense 13th in the NBA. Now, before you dismiss it and say it's just hating, we'll take a look at it. The writer agrees that Gabe Vincent will space the floor better than Dennis Schroeder could. He also believes that LeBron James will have a lot of fun running the pick and roll with backup center Christian Wood. But there are still problems in the Laker offense. Nobody feels particularly threatened by Jared Vanderbilt. That's fair. And is Rui Hachimura's postseason burst of offense, can that be sustainable over the course of an 82-game regular season? That's a fair question. And by the way, let's be real, LeBron James is going to be 39. So I don't know if we should just give CBS Sports the middle finger and say they don't know what they're talking about yet. Those are fair points to bring up. Finally, the Lakers have signed Louis King, who played one game for the 76ers last year. Translation, he's going to the G League. So there's that. Chip Kelly is starting to talk out of both sides of his mouth when discussing the quarterback situation over at UCLA. He's very frustrated with freshman Dante Moore, who has thrown pick sixes in 3 consecutive games. The guy has thrown twice as many interceptions as he has touchdown passes. But Kelly said that he learned from former Lakers coach Paul Westhead that making drastic changes in your team, quote, you may stop the bleeding, but you may kill the patient, and that's not going to happen here, unquote. So it sounds as if he suggested to the LA Times that Moore is staying. But then the Times asked about the other quarterbacks on the roster, if they're actually ready, if they're available, ready to go. Take Ethan Garbers, for example. Quote, yes, very much so. So the Times claims Garbers actually won the starting job out of training camp only to lose it to Moore after one game. I got to call the Times out on that. That is revisionist history. Absolutely revisionist history. Kelly was very upfront with the press. He said he didn't have a starter per se, that he was going to be playing 3 quarterbacks, and then as the season goes on, then make a decision. So I don't really think it's fair to say that Garbers lost the starting gig. He could wind up getting it, but he didn't lose it just because he started the season opener. What I'm going to tell you about the UCLA quarterback situation, which is obviously not settled, is something that I've been saying since before the season started. I told you guys that when you claim that you have multiple starting quarterbacks, oh, we're so great, we're so set, we have 2 starting quarterbacks, we have 3 starting quarterbacks. You say that, you have no starting quarterbacks. None. Nobody took the bull by the horns, as the cliche goes. I mean, for Pete's sake, it's now gotten so bad over at UCLA that the Times is now chattering about the 4th string quarterback, Justin Martin, if he might be starting to play. It's gone worse than could have imagined for the Bruins. I hate to say it. I love that defense. But when they started saying that they have so many great quarterbacks, I had a sinking feeling the offense was in a bit of a pickle. I mentioned the Lakers offense earlier. The Clippers were graded out even worse, though. They are allegedly the 17th best offense, according to CBSSports.com, which means they are below average. And it's really simple to point out the flaw. They never get to the basket. They don't drive. And as a result of not driving to the rim, they also don't go to the free throw line. When you drive to the rim, you attract fouls. So the bottom line with the Clippers is they either hit their outside shots or they lose. Real simple. The writer of that piece, though, does admit the Clippers' offense might get better if they do make a James Harden trade. But at last check, Philly said that the offer for Harden was, quote, unserious, unquote. And if you're a Clippers fan, you want to be optimistic. You have reason to be optimistic. You still have Kawhi Leonard. You still have Paul George. Russell Westbrook was a bit of a sensation after acquiring him after the trade deadline last year. But you have to take a step back and be honest with yourself. Does this team's much ballyhoo depth, is it too much? Tyronn Lue prefers a rotation of about 9 players. But you could also argue as many as 12 players could easily fit into that rotation. So then you go back and you go, okay, 9 people. We already know 4 of those spots are taken up. Leonard, George, Westbrook, Ivica Zubac. Now you have 7 people. Let me rephrase. You have 8 people vying for 5 spots. 8 vying for 5. Consider Terrence Mann, the guy who the Clippers might send to Philadelphia as part of a Harden trade. Mann is easily one of the NBA's most versatile players. He can play center. He can play any position from center to point guard. And yet, because he does not have a defined role, it actually sometimes hurts him in terms of playing time. There were times last season where he was DNP, coach's decision, because the coach had too many people to try to fit into a finite amount of minutes. For Pete's sake, the guy was supposed to be the center, or forward, then he winds up being the starting point guard until they brought in Westbrook. I haven't even mentioned the trouble trying to find decent minutes for Robert Covington. So do the Clippers have too much depth in order to get some sort of a sustainable rotation? Max Muncy told a podcast that I'll never listen to what it was like to be in the Dodgers clubhouse after getting swept by Arizona. For lack of a better term, he was Sam Malone at Cheers. Quote, Doc does a great job. That would be Dave Roberts. He comes in and he gives a speech to everybody. He kind of opens up the floor and he says, if anybody's got anything to say, you can open up. Jason Hayward this year, he kind of jumped up and said he was super thankful to all of us and of the front office for assembling the team. Just classic Jason Hayward. But my thing is I like to get everyone a bunch of beers. And you don't really need to say anything. It sucks the season is over. Didn't end how you wanted it to. There's only one team that wins that last game and you want to be it. And we're not. It's kind of a terrible feeling. So I don't feel like too much needs to be said for me. I just I try to hand out as many beers as I can. It sucks, unquote. In addition to finding a suitable replacement as a runner, remember Kyron Williams was also good in the backfield at picking up the blitz. I bring this up because the Rams are playing Pittsburgh. TJ Watt has 8 sacks this year so far, guys. By the way, The Athletic reported that Kyron Williams was at practice Tuesday with his ankle in cast-like material. So the following by me is completely irresponsible speculation. Irresponsible speculation. Cast-like material sounds like 4 to 6 weeks to me, guys. Just saying. Probably 4. Sean McVay has laid down the law with his yet-to-be-born son. Don't you get born on Sunday, kid. I won't be there. You see, you might recall last week there was chatter. Would Sean McVay skip the game against Arizona in order to see the birth of his son? Well, he doesn't want to go through this story week after week after week. So now he's quashed it. He's going to coach no matter what. So if you're born on a Sunday, kid, laps. Lots of them. Even if you don't know how to crawl yet. You're a coach's kid. That's what you got to put up with. Over with the Chargers, Brandon Staley will tell you that the Bolts defense is one of the best in the NFL at third down, but he's not telling you the whole story, guys. The statistic he's claiming that the opposition converts on just 20 out of 60 of third downs, that's true. That would mean, hey, look at how great we are. You're only going to convert on us a third of the time. But the Chargers have committed the most penalties on third down this year. 10. 7 led directly to first downs. The other 3 were personal fouls, which meant yards were tacked on at the end of the play, and guess what? The chains moved anyway. So you've given away 10 free first downs. You take that into account, And opponents have now converted on third down against the Bolts 42.2% of the time. That is in the bottom half of the league. Quentin Byfield is a restricted free agent at the end of the year for the Kings. The former number 2 overall pick has never hit his stride yet in the NHL. And while it might be a good idea to extend him now, to wait for that alleged breakout year, the team is seriously up against the salary cap. Only about $113,000 if my memory is correct. So if you're wondering, people who follow NHL contracts, by the way, that's not a hobby I would want, currently project Byfield as getting a contract in the $2 million range when his rookie deal is up. Short term. And that would be even if he has a breakout season this year. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about the pressure to change quarterbacks at UCLA. Tell me if you actually fell this summer for the Taylor Swift, Austin Reaves rumors. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thanks for watching. I'm James. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully healthy. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.